Greeting, Mr. President. My name is Saurabh Chamanara, and this is my 9th virtual audience with you. Islamic Constitution of Iran is a crusade manifestation against United States of America. Mr. President, as I have said repeatedly, my concern and worry is about terrorism. The terrorism by which the Ayatollah's regime very quietly and systematically have placed their sleeping cells all over the world for the last 40 years. For the last 30 years, this regime has used Article 44 and Article 110 of Islamic Constitution of Iran, and under the umbrella of privatization, the Ayatollahs have distributed all the industries, companies, and institutions of Iran among relatives and cronies of themselves. We are talking about $500 billion wealth, which belongs to these few hundred families among 5 million Iranian diaspora. They have no sympathy or empathy for 80 million Iranian population inside Iran, which according to their own admission, 70% are under poverty line. They do not care if 95% of the people of Iran go under poverty. It is unbelievable to hear them in their sermons defending poverty, telling people the Shia Imam were living in poverty and your patience is the sign of your dignity and religious values. This regime is in power only for their relatives and hardcore religious supporters who are only less than 5% of the population of Iran. They enjoy life with their billions of dollars of their money in their bank account inside and outside Iran. Any protest or demonstration against their misbehavior and mismanagement and very public and publicized theft by the senior member of the regime are crushed by the Islamic forces as if they are defending the Islam. At the same time, all of these religious cronies of the Ayatollahs have changed their appearances when they live abroad. You may look at the pictures of Ayatollah Khamenei's relatives in the West, relatives of Ayatollah Rafsanjani in England pretending to be a loyal British citizen, or in Paris, the queen of the cosmetic of Iran. Or the most interesting one is the picture of Mr. Khavari, the in-law of Ayatollah Khamenei, who was the head of Iranian central bank. 2 years ago, he embezzled and transferred 3 billions with B, billions of dollars from Central Bank of Iran to Canada and left Iran next day. It was a major news for months inside Iran until Ayatollah Khamenei, with a statement regarded as a decree, said, do not prolong it. And this Persian word, keshesh nadin, is a very famous statement said by Ayatollah Khamenei. The subject was forgotten, but months later, pictures surfaced that Mr. Khavari was gambling in Canadian casinos to send a message to Canadian authorities that he has no religious ties with Ayatollah Khamenei. Such examples are hundreds. Here I can name few families, but the United States intelligence services can easily find out who these relatives of Ayatollahs are. Another example, former student during hostage crisis 40 years ago, Masume Ebtekar, who was a spokeswoman for the hostage taker students. Now you may see several videos of her in YouTube saying the American hostages must be killed. She has been the Minister of Environment for the last 30 years. Her husband has the monopoly to import automobile parts and is known as the king of the car industry in Iran. Their children are students in the United States. Ayatollah's regime relatives and associates with billions of dollar wealth living in the Western countries, especially United States, Canada, and Europe, are sleeping cells for future terrorism. What I am saying here is not new for your national security advisors, Mr. President. But what is ignored here is the potential of the terrorism of these people to initiate in the future by thousands of these relatives and associates of the Ayatollahs. The sanction at the present form will take many years until the poverty level of the Iranian reach 90% from present 70%. Even if this sanction make 99% of the Iranian under the poverty line, the behavior of this regime will not change. Since Ayatollahs have no empathy with the people of Iran, and it does not affect their feeling and the way they govern. These cronies of these regimes, who have their assets inside and outside, in the worst case, will continue their luxury life outside Iran. But if only 10% of them would finance terrorism activities in the future, the numbers will be enormous. The danger of terrorism is what I am trying to advocate, and I hope your advisors consider that. However, the dialogue of change of constitution have started in Iran since few years ago, and it has become a movement by manifestation of 14 political activists who have started this 2 months ago. Very slowly, this movement will bring down the regime at 2020 with or without any foreign government help. The United States government is the only foreign government who, by its support of the people of Iran, can accelerate this change of constitution in Iran and ultimately remove Ayatollahs from government. Mr. President, it is known in the Iran that the government and regime in Iran is a favorite of the West and Eastern countries because billions of dollars stolen by Ayatollahs are deposited in the Western banks. Also, existence of such a hostile regime in the Middle East is the main reason for the arms sale, which also East and West benefit from that. Therefore, people of the streets in Iran have been always not optimistic that the US government will ever help them. On the contrary, by these random sanctions. They believe you are harming the people of Iran and helping the regime. A smart sanction means sanctioning the children and relatives of Ayatollahs. One sample of a smart sanction happened only once, around 7 years ago, when the British government froze the bank account of Ayatollah Khamenei's son, Mujtaba Khamenei, in London, and that forced Iranian regime to start negotiating the nuclear deal. But we believe President Trump has a different vision for the future of the Middle East. And President Trump will be the one who, by smart sanctions, will help the movement inside Iran for change of Islamic constitution of Iran. Change of Ayatollah's constitution is the only hope for rescuing the nation of Iran, which President Trump can help. Thank you, Mr. President, for listening.